Hey there, everyone. My name is David Reynolds, and I'm just going to give my little opinions of the new Elder Scrolls release, Gold Road. So, if you're an ESO fan or an Elder Scrolls fan, or not even having any clue what I'm talking about, stick around. You might agree with me, you might disagree with me, whatever. Basically, it's just I'm coming in from an Elder Scrolls fan perspective of how they're handling the Imperials. Massive fan of the Imperials. Just massive. Just don't know why. Just none of the other factions or races interested me as much as the Imperials did. But that's that's me. And basically, yeah, I kind of like what they're doing with it. The whole here's different regions of Cyrodiil. You know, have fun in Skingrad, Kvatch, Anvil, the Imperial City. I just feel like I'm jumping ahead. What is my basic rundown of how ESO's handled the Imperials? Um, wasn't a massive fan of it at first. Still kind of not a massive fan of it. I just feel like the moment I found out that the Imperials were just going to be a race you could become, fair enough, but also like you could never join any Imperial factions, I get it. They were the bad guys, they were working with Mehrunes. So, of course, it would be counterintuitive to just be like, oh, yeah, here you go, actively destroy people trying to take down this Daedric prince. So, of course, that wouldn't have worked from a story perspective. It just felt like all the other ones were, kind of tame. The ESO's stories have never been fantastic. They've never been, I would say, even like good. They've been decent, I'd say, which is part and parcel with, what the whole game is. It's an MMO, although some people who play MMOs seem to have good stories, whether they've played with Warcraft, even Diablo for a while, I imagine was good. Never played any of them, so I'm just going off of secondhand opinion. But basically, it's just always been, we understood what ESO was. It wasn't trying to be more than, it was just trying to tell, an interesting story, in this multiplayer game. So, to hate on that seems pointless. But I would definitely say how they've handled the Imperials feels a bit not the best. I'd say like the most memorable Imperial factions or Imperial focused games, expansions, would definitely be the Dark Brotherhood and Blackwood. But so one at a time, I would say. I mean, I get the idea of it. It's very. It matches with what the Dark Brotherhood is: assassination missions. So of course, getting into more courtly intrigue and understanding, the world, the characters, the cultures felt a bit. It wouldn't have matched with, trying to be the Dark Brotherhood. You don't care who you're assassinating. It's just more how well can you do the assassinations. So fair enough. But I mean, just the whole idea. Anvil is conquered by pirates because Anvil's governor has been constantly attacking Kvatch, and no, I mean, it's not unbelievable. It just feels like it could have been done better. It's just like, how did they manage to accomplish it? Oh, it's because there was barely any garrison, and that, she just happens to be a one of a kind pirate. Oh, of course. Yeah, that's nice. That's lucky, isn't it? And then once she's spoilers, assassinated. It's then just who controls Anvil now? Um, no one, I guess. Maybe Kvatch also conquered them, maybe somehow. Like, I get the pirates kind of left when the primate, probably shouldn't just say the name like that, but that's what he's called in the game. He's the primate of Akatosh. Basically, like the Pope. But, yeah. He was trying to, like, recruit the pirates who were still there, come over to me because I have issues with the governor of Kvatch. Oh, my nose is itchy. It's not even itchy. Ugh. But yeah, I guess the governor now owns Anvil as well, or maybe there were still pirates there and they've, appointed their own governor. So yeah, I definitely don't see bandits or, like one of the alliances conquering Anvil now that there's like no one in it to defend it. I mean, what's Kvatch gonna do? So, don't know why. It just felt like they didn't know what to do with it, so they kind of just, the saying, tossed a bandage on it, a bandage on it, and just basically just did nothing. Did the bandage even like land? Did it even touch your skin, or did it just immediately just ping off? So yeah, that's the Dark Brotherhood quest line in terms of what they did with the Imperials. You're probably wondering, what about the Imperial City? I don't hate it. I definitely say it's probably the best out of all of them. That's about it. There's not really much else you can do. You can meet Imperials, you can help Imperials, you can like try and stop Molag, Meru and Dagon. And that's about it. You find out the Queen, Clivia Tharn, either always has been or was just more recently killed and turned into, well, not turned into, replaced by a Daedra. But yeah, it's overall not the worst, not the best. Blackwood's a lot more interesting because I think probably because of the whole overarching theme of, courtly intrigue in the past and then trying to prevent a Daedric prince. Like, Gold Road, which is the new expansion, definitely feels like it's trying to just copy and paste Blackwood, but it either doesn't want to like take everything so it's not as obvious, or it's just too new and we don't really know much about it. Well, we do know a few things about it and a few things that aren't really adding up, but that's too later. Let's just stick with the one we're on about, which is Blackwood. Blackwood, decent. I definitely find the whole Longhouse Emperor's aspect interesting, although it also feels a bit, again, like the whole pirates conquering Anvil. Really? There's like no one attempting to like overthrow this. Oh, Varen does. Yeah, at like the third emperor, which like I think is even longer than the Sais Akaviri potentate lasted. So that's weird. Why let three emperors and then try and overthrow them? Oh, because they now tried to implement Daedric worship, which feels like something they would have done from the very beginning. But I guess we just don't want to have. No, we want to have this whole reach emperors thing, but also not have it be too long. We don't want to like have it be an entire, I don't know, decade, because of course we want Riemann, then we want Tiber Septim. We don't really want to focus on who came in between them. So, yeah, fair enough with that. Can't argue with that. It's an interesting idea. I think it just boils down to the executions. You don't leave satisfied. You leave with more questions than answers. How would the Colovians and Nibonese just allow this to happen? Did Oh my God, it's Black Drake. Yeah, the Black Drake really had that much men with him, even though, like, they give him this whole like spiel of he was like the chosen one who was going to do it. There were like these reach wizards that were like, Black Drake, you ever thought about conquering the Imperial City and ruling it? The guy's just like, don't they have like legions? And isn't this like directly after the Akaviri potentate? I It is, and it just does not add up how that would just be allowed to happen. The Colovians, uber religious, uber strict. The Nibonese, kind of also uber religious, but not over strict. They understand the whole idea of trade. But the Colovians would not allow that to happen. They just did, and didn't wait until like his grandson to do something about it. And even then, it seemed like it was just Varen and some Colovian estates. Like, Anvil didn't even support him. Why? It's just, why the governor? Like, to be like fair enough, this is like well into the Longhouse Emperor's rule, so of course they probably had like a loyal governor in Anvil. So why Anvil not supporting them? That's fair enough. I ain't arguing with that. That's like later down the line. Makes sense. But like no issues with the Black Drake during his entire rule. Yeah, I'm buying that. Not. So, yeah. But it gave us an interesting little, hey, here's a bunch of Daedric emperors, and they've made a deal with Molag Bal in return for like more power or something, which, I mean, would have made sense and does make sense since it's the Black Drake that does it. But then he gets killed in High Rock, so it's like he created this preventative measure, I guess, against the Imperials, but like no one knew about it. So it's like this. It's like building the Death. They basically built the Death Star and actually managed to keep it a secret. But then, like, there's like no one really rebelling against him. I mean, like, there's this whole exchange with him and Abner Tharn, but like, Abner Tharn is too chicken to do anything about it. Yeah, so that's fun. There's like, I mean, maybe there were rebellions, but they just never talked about it. Or maybe the Black Drake just swept it all under the rug. A minor rebellion, put it down. Why put it in a book? But like, not even one, like after his rule. No, guess not. Varen doesn't even acknowledge there were other rebellions. So, anyway, I'm harping on that little thing. What about the other stuff, Not too bad, to be honest, I do feel the whole killing of ex-Elder Council members did go a bit too easy, like, shouldn't it be hard to kill these people? I know they're hiding, but like, they all know where they are. They all know the exact security detail of all of them. And apparently, yes, the again, spoilers, in case you haven't played it yet, ex-council member, basically orchestrated the whole thing, and it's just one guy, just one senator, and he manages to kill the rest of them. Okay, but that's again the story and the plot, which I've come to expect from ESO never to have high expectations. Set the bar at medium or maybe a little low, and you'll have a good time. Is there anything I've enjoyed coming out of Blackwood? The Ivory Brigade was an interesting touch. It's definitely ties into the whole aspect of the Empire trying to conquer elsewhere, or the Black Marsh. They had to learn the hard way not to go in heavy, with full heavy armor. Go light and just conquer the best you can. It's all swamps and sand. So that's been fun. It definitely brings into question whether the idea of a live action Elder Scrolls movie is something that should exist. I know you might think otherwise. Again, love to hear your opinion in the comments. But I definitely feel like it would be better served in a very Final Fantasy or Starship Troopers kind of like CGI movie kind of thing. I feel like, I don't know, animated? Elder Scrolls has never really felt like something that could be. It felt like if it was animated, like a cartoon, it would just be here's another generic fantasy type thing. Whereas I feel like with the more CG kind of movie, it would definitely give it its own feeling. The reason I don't think live action would work is just, again, it just feels like too fantasy. It's just like, how would you even have the Imperials? They would just be Romans with weird shields and a dragon banner instead of an eagle. It's just, I think it's just with the CG, it would make it more obvious that here's this its own thing. You can have, like, I don't know, maybe it's just an aesthetic thing, but maybe I just feel it would be, especially with like what's coming out nowadays, it would definitely stand out more and play in more to. Maybe it's just because of Elder Scrolls Castles. That mobile game looked naff. I'm not gonna lie. Naff means shite, by the way. But yeah, no, I am not feeling it with castles. I don't know. No, I'm not talk about it. Forget I said castles. What's castles? Never heard of it. Ignore that. But yeah, just no. Not cartoon, not live action, just CG. I would definitely say it. More expensive, I know that, and not everyone's a fan of it. Again, do not blame you. But I definitely feel for an Elder Scrolls, do that. Although the chances of that happening seem to be far away. Or, I don't know, maybe it does depend on how Fallout Show does. I got my fingers crossed on that thing. The story does not look interesting. I mean, it kind of looks interesting, but not interesting enough that I'm like, oh yeah, this is in safe hands. This isn't gonna flop at like the very first episode. Yeah, I don't know. No one seems to also be pointing this out. Oh, why is the NCR, not really featured in the trailer? And it's like, because it's from Obsidian. Why are you acting like that's too hard to say? Like, no one seems to want to say that. I've seen videos on YouTube, even like articles, that won't even bring up the fact that, oh, why is the NCR not really in this? Because it came from a studio that Bethesda seems to like genuinely not like. That's controversial to say all of a sudden. Weird. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. There's like no other explanation for it. It was done by Obsidian. Bethesda is not Obsidian. Bethesda took from Fallout from Obsidian. So why would they have this faction that has been exclusively used by Obsidian? Like just Fallout 1, Fallout 2, and then Fallout New Vegas. You know, like, oh, shocker, they were all made by Obsidian. So, yeah. Also, like, what would Bethesda even do with the NCR? You know? They've never written for them. They don't even seem to really like the idea of a society trying to like cling on to pre-war. So why would they include it? I'm not justifying the reason. I'm just saying that is the reason, and that is the reason they will not. They won't do them justice. They will. I feel very strongly, and I'm not psychic, but I feel very strongly they will butcher the NCR in the TV show. You know, you can hate it, but it's the truth. You know, sorry to say. Dang, this video is going on. I've just gone off topic. Alright. Gold Road, which I think I put this title as the video. But yeah. I don't know. When I first saw the trailer, I was like, again, absolute banger. But I think it's also the reason why I really think CGI Elder Scrolls movie has to be. You can't do either of the other version. You can't have it be live action. No. It would be generic. Same with a cartoon. You know, like Steven Universe or Adventure Time cartoon. You know, oh my god, they make it for kids. Oh, yeah. Just saying that now has made me realize they're gonna make it for kids. That's gonna be the very first Elder Scrolls we're gonna get outside of the games. There's not even any point in even saying and books, because it's like 2 books. Oh yeah, that's a lot. Which I also get that, you know. You don't want other people messing around with your property. This is like yours property. You know, this ain't Fallout. You can butcher Fallout because we're making money off of it, but it wasn't ours to begin with. We don't have this clone's kinship with it. But Elder Scrolls, no. No, don't you dare. Don't you dare, my boy. Which I hate it, you know, as many have pointed out on YouTube, you know, we really do need more Elder Scrolls type stuff, you know. I mean, I don't want to copy another person's video, but I do 100% agree with a lot of his opinions, you know. Just, I don't know why another book is out of the question, you know. Like, the book was even that long ago. If you don't want it to tie into you so that it becomes impossible for you to, like, include it, that's fair. I hate you, but it's fair. You know, so, I don't know, let them retell a story that you've told, you know, and then just have it be, you know, this weird, well, no, weird, I guess, if it doesn't, you know, if it's not a success, but, you know, if it is a success, then it's this different telling of a story that you've told, not from like a game, but like from one of your lore points, you know, like one of the Riemann Emperor's story, you know, even just like tell their downfall and the, you know, taking over of the Akaveri Potentate, you know, that'd be interesting. You could definitely write a book about that. I'd be shocked if you couldn't, you know. I don't know. toys and comic books. I'd be okay with stuff like that. I mean, I'd definitely buy it. I just feel like there's not really a lot you can, you know. To say you're an Elder Scrolls fan feels a bit, oh, you like the games, and that's it, you know. Like Warhammer fans, they like the books as well. You know, maybe even some of them just like the books and aren't even a fan of, the Dawn of War games. That happens. That's what I like to call, a fan base. You know, like even Tolkien has that. I like the Silmarillion. I'm not a huge fan of Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. I like The Hobbit. I'm not a huge fan of Lord of the Rings or the Silmarillion. I just like the games, bruh. Like, we don't have that, but we somehow still call ourselves a fan base. Basically, we're clinging on to it. I'm really sorry, again, off topic. Back to Gold Road. Oh my god, no. It was back to Molag Bal's whole thing. But again, they both tie in, the Gold Road and Blackwood. So, we gotta talk about the new Daedric Prince. Again, just like ESO, interesting ideas. Sometimes the delivery is a bit shoddy. God, just even how it ties into Skingrad. It feels like they just threw in Skingrad because why not? We're right next to Valenwood. We don't want it to be the entirety of Valenwood. Let's just have this bit where it's connecting both of them, Yeah, that'll work. How are we going to include Skingrad, though? Well, you see, Skingrad's going to have this massive issue with trees growing everywhere. Okay, alright, I like that. So, it's going to tie into the Daedric Prince that's coming back, right? Yeah, it could, yeah. Alright, so she's like Gaia then. She like controls trees. She speaks for the trees. No. Okay, if she doesn't speak for the trees, what's her connection to the trees? Well, you see, she's gonna be the three fates. The people that control someone's destiny in life. Okay. How does that tie into the trees? They're terrorizing Skingrad. They're not. They're not. So that's a pointless addition. It basically is. They wanted to include Skingrad and such, even though they didn't even say it was such. They just said it was an imperial fort. Fort such. Hard to say. But no, I am not a fan of just the basic idea of they don't really know what to do with the Imperials, But for someone like me who doesn't even have ESO, how am I, profiting from this as someone who likes the Imperials? Oh, well, some of the lore is okay, and the Imperial armor is sometimes nice to look at, even though a lot of the times it does feel like it leans a bit too heavily into fantasy, because it just becomes this weird armor thing that is only imperial because they added in a Roman skirt or a red diamond sigil. Not the best. Nah. But that's all we're gonna get from ESO in terms of like other projects like Skywind, Skyblivion. It is it's beautiful. It really is. The fact that they're coming out next year is a little disheartening, I'm not gonna lie, but I am going to soldier on until they come out. You gotta love it though. You would think ZeniMax would learn from what Bethesda fails at, you know, like making stuff look good. Can you do that? You can a little bit, not as much as what modders online can do. Because like the city guard from Sky Oblivion is just a work of art, and it looks like it was not made by modders, and yet for some reason, for some unknown reason, ZeniMax and Bethesda cannot make Imperial armor look as good as a bunch of modders doing that shit for free. Why do people get paid? I'm sorry. Oh boy, we're at half an hour. Alright, let's round it all up. So, the new Daedric Prince looks like you just took an idea from Greek mythology and made that the whole persona, you know? She now controls the fates like the fates. Oh, why would that get her removed? I can see a generic reason, but I don't see a reason that warrants the whole being removed from everyone and everything's memory. She still has servants somehow. So why? Why? If like the Daedric princes, like surely if they were that threatened by her, would have done an absolute massacre of anything that's ever been her. And it seems like they did, except for random servants of hers. Okay, alright, that's. Yeah, you need a reason to that she's able to come back, so yeah, some of her servants managed to survive. Oh boy. Again, ESO, the stories, you get what you get. You know, I don't even play it, so I don't even know why I'm that interested in it. I want to know the story. You know, I shouldn't have to play a game to know its story and know if it's good or bad. You know, and this story does not make me want to download ESO. I'm sorry. No. So, what am I going to be, tuning into? Well, basically, the new armor that's going to come with this expansion. You know, I saw a little bit of it. Well, not in the trailer, but in a lot of the reveal. Well, the global reveal. So, it's basically just the Ivory Brigade, but red. That's cool. But there was also one that, looked new. There's also another one called the Imperial Vendette. So I kind of get why it's called that. Probably just because it's probably inspired by Bretons. So it's like, it's Imperial, but it's inspired by Bretons. So you take what you get. Especially if you're an Imperial fan. Like, we are starving until one of the Skywind or Skyblivion games come out. I mean, there's also the other ones, the other modders. There's Roskria, and I think they're all gonna have like their own little, here's our take on the Imperial armor. And then TS6. What are they gonna do with their Imperial armor? I imagine it's gonna be like old ones from like the Great War, and even new ones, maybe even a mixture ones, a mixture of both, Hammerfell and Imperials from, maybe ex-soldiers who don't want to like remove the armor because they're still proud of it, but also, they're not Imperials. They want to like red guard it up a little bit. So That's cool. But again, that one's gonna come out on my deathbed. I am fairly certain. So we may as well just put that one out of our memory. But I definitely am looking forward to seeing the new Imperial armors in this Gold Road expansion, and how Skingrad looks, and how such looks. And, maybe, fingers crossed, if the heavens align, we might get, a decent Imperial story. You know, just even one that matches what we got in Blackwood. You know, maybe even with a little bit more of the court intrigue from the Dark Brotherhood quest. You know, not something that's just in the background that's giving you a reason to assassinate people. Just something. But anyway, tell me your thoughts and your opinions. It'll be good to meet more Imperial fans, especially on YouTube. So, I know it's a fairly long video for a lot of rambling, But, if you want more Imperial videos, I can definitely do more, you know. Just probably even like take a deep dive, maybe even like throw my own opinion of what I think would be a decent Imperial quest line, or how they could have even just improved on ones that they did if they just put some more effort into it, Not to insult them, I'm not a writer, so it's not that I'm saying they're shit at their job. I'm just saying the job doesn't look that good, you know. But thanks for watching, and like, subscribe, dislike. Can't see the dislike, so dislike away. And have a good day. Thanks for watching.